Hello, my lovely people. It's Becky. I wanted to make a video about Pride Month. So, any triggers will be down in the description as always. So I'm going to start this out by saying, shit, I don't remember what I was going to say. It's been a day. All right. So, June is Pride Month. To those who are not in the LGBTQ plus community, Pride Month might seem stupid. It's not, okay? So, Pride Month is a way for those of us who are part of the community to fully express ourselves and be proud of who we are. So many people don't feel safe to be themselves, don't feel that they can be themselves. And Pride Month is a time where we can. And, you know, it's sad because, you know, I have friends who are closeted. They're still in the closet because they don't feel safe coming out and being who they are wholeheartedly. Because either their parents or their friends, anyone else in their family might disown them. And I think that's really sad because you don't choose to be in the LGBTQ plus community. You don't choose to be straight. That's kind of like built in, you know, like that's the norm when it comes to society. And I can tell you from personal experience, I've tried to not be bisexual, okay? I grew up in Texas, all right? And while my friends are lovely and they've been there for me, I didn't feel safe coming out in Texas. I waited until I moved to a different state to come out. And even then, I was met with judgment. I started going to church when I want to say 15. I was born in England and I was christened as in the Episcopalian Church, or the Church of England. And when we moved to America, we couldn't really find an Episcopalian church near us, so we just didn't really go to church. So I knew about religion, I knew about Christianity, I knew, you know, Jesus and all of that. Like, that sounds awful, but like, you know, that was how it was in my house, was that, yes, Jesus died for us, and, you know, we're low-key Christians, like, but I didn't really get back into being, you know, full-blown, like, going to church every Sunday Christian until I was 15, and the reason was because I was having a really, really hard time. I was extremely depressed. And one of my best friends was like, Rebecca, I think you should go to church with me. And I did, and it was wonderful. I have some of the best memories with her and her mom at church. I was part of a youth group with my friend And we did a lock-in where we spent the whole night at the church awake doing fun shit like games, and it was so much fun, and I had a lovely time. But as I got older, I started to express myself as an ally to the LGBTQ plus community, and I feel like I knew deep down that I was bisexual, but I wasn't ready to express it or accept it myself. Like, I didn't even want to use the term bisexual. I kind of just told anyone that, I just kind of, I only ever dated guys up until then, so I feel like people just assumed that I was straight, but I was not. But I felt wrong. Even though people at my church did not judge me for being an ally, well, for the most part, I still felt wrong because I would see it all the time. I had friends or, acquaintances who were gay or, who were lesbians or bisexual, and people would say, that's wrong. And it wasn't just religious. Like, it wasn't just, it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. Like, it wasn't just that. It was, people have a closed-minded view on the LGBTQ plus community. And that's how it was. So, and still is to an extent. Things have gotten better. Same-sex marriage is legal in a lot of places now. But there are still places where you could literally get thrown in jail for loving who you love, which I think is just atrocious. But I felt dirty and I felt wrong because I was bi and I didn't want to accept that. So I didn't tell anyone that I was. I had a couple people in high school that were, I had a couple girls that I don't even want to say I didn't have sex with them or anything. It was just experimentation, like kissing. So I had I had like 2 girls that I did that with, just to see for sure if I was. And like the attraction was always there, even since I was like a little kid, but I didn't know for sure if being with a girl would be exciting for me. And it was. And then I was like, oh no. Because I was like, this is not good. It was scary. I didn't want to be. Because I'd seen people get bullied at my school for loving who they love, for being attracted to who they're attracted to. People used to spread rumors about the people in my school who were in the LGBTQ plus community. And that made it extremely negative. And I was terrified to come out, so I didn't. I did not come out to anyone until my senior year of high school, and it was just my mom and my sister. I don't remember if I told my brothers at that point in time, but I know I told my mom and my sister. I told my sister first, and she was so accepting, and then I told my mom. And I love my mom, and she's so accepting, and she loves me. But she asked a question, which is pretty frequently asked to people who have come out, is, how do you know? She said, how do you know? And I was like, Mom, how did you know you were straight? It's that simple. You just know. And that's common. That's a common question people get asked when they come out to someone. How did you know? Like, how do you know that you are? Like, are you sure? And, you know, those were the only two people who knew for a while. And like I said, I don't remember when I told my brothers. They all know now. They know I'm a flaming bisexual. But when I moved away from Texas, I was 18. I started to come out to my friends, just very close friends. You know, my 3 best friends in Texas, I told them. And they were lovely. Absolutely wonderful. And they're so supportive of me. And then I posted about it on Facebook. And for the most part, everyone was lovely. I did have one person, I'm not going to say names, from my old church who reached out to me and gave me all this religious bullshit. And told me, like, if God wanted a man to be with another man or a woman to be with another woman, he would have made a way for that to happen. And I'm like, okay, well, it's possible now. And they were like, you know, this whole thing about all you need is love is bull. Like, no, sex is for procreation. And I'm like shaking my head at it. I was like, I wouldn't want to be you. Because I do view love as the only thing you need. Love in any form, whether that's just a friend or family or a significant other. And love is love. It's a huge part of not only my life, but everyone I know. So it's hard because, at least in my experience, I have had negative reactions to being bi. I've had a couple friends who spread rumors that I was cheating or, you know, the stereotypes of bisexuals, like, oh, it's just a phase. She's gonna cheat when she ends up in a relationship because she's so selfish she can't have just one gender. Like, she's a whore. Like, all sorts of nasty, nasty shit. And they don't know that. Like, they don't know those things. They don't know what I do. Like, and one of the symptoms of borderline is an unstable sense of identity or sense of self. So having a hard time knowing who you are or what you identify with or the things you like, the things you dislike. Mine has gotten so bad before that during a breakdown, I had to write down facts about myself. Like, I am Rebecca. I am English. I have brownish hair. I have brown eyes. I wear glasses. I am this many years old. Like, it was really bad. And a lot of the times, I don't know, you know, and it's a lot better now. But when I was younger, I didn't know if the beliefs I had were mine or if they were shoved on me by other people or if I was picking them up to fit in. And the way I describe it now is it's like a chameleon. Like I can morph myself into different situations and different people. So, and I don't do that anymore. I am me, and if you don't like it, tough. That's my opinion now. But back then, I mean, and even still sometimes, like, not near as much, and I really am very vocal about my views now. So people know automatically what I believe. But I used to, like, do everything I could to please people because I was scared they were going to leave me. And I was scared that I was going to end up alone in every sense of the word. So being bisexual has been huge for me. For a long time, I didn't know if that was really me. I had a really, really unstable and disgusting view of myself because I'm bisexual. That turned into so much hate and anger, especially towards religion, that anytime someone brought up religion to me, I would get so angry. And I don't like church. Yes, there are some that are very accepting, you know. But I had my fair share of churches that were not accepting and very blunt about it. My sister went to a church that literally on Christmas service mentioned homosexuality and how it was wrong. And the pastor was like, well, I got up, I've gotten into fights with people at this church because they say it's not, and then I say, yes, it is. And I was so close to walking out. I was like, how fucking dare you? This is not, this is Christmas. Like, you have more important things to talk about. And and then I moved to Pennsylvania and I started going to a church here, which was the coolest church. Like, it was really cool. I made a friend, a lady, like, older than me, probably in her 30s or 40s. And I went to her house one day and it came out that I was bisexual. And she said, are you sure? Are you sure it's not just a phase? You'll be okay. It'll go away. And I was like, bye. Like, that was like, no, I don't need people like that in my life. I am myself, and if people don't like that, they can go fuck themselves. I really don't care. But that church my sister used to go to, they literally had her convinced that I was going to go to hell because I'm bisexual. Her youth pastor told me that it was wrong when I went to her. That just totally helped me. And that gives the complete opposite. I don't know the right word. It portrays the complete opposite of what people say when they think, like, when they're like, oh, we're Christians, we love everyone. No. And it's not every Christian, okay? It's not every religion either. It's, there's some from every group that are going to be homophobic. Homophobic is a stupid word. You're not afraid, you're an asshole. That is something I heard, and I don't remember who said it. I think it was Morgan Freeman. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. But that is a quote, and I love that quote so much. But yeah, there's always going to be people in, like, every single group who view being LGBTQ plus as wrong. Sorry. And I used to really care about that. My sister and I, when she was going to this church, got into fights about it because I was coming to terms with the fact that I was bisexual. And up until that point that she started going to that church, she had been completely understanding, completely accepting. And all of a sudden she started going to this church and we were in restaurants, her crying, saying, I don't want you to go to hell. And I would be like, if you're really that worried, pray for me, because that's all you can do. And that was horrible. We went to a convention and there was an LGBTQ plus panel, and she was really brave, and she went with me to it. And she was the first person who got to ask the question. And she started talking about church, and I was like, oh no, oh God. Like, I was so scared what was going to come out of her mouth. But she asked all these LGBTQ plus people. Everyone around me is saying, no, that this is wrong. My sister is bisexual and I want to be there for her. How do I do that? How am I supposed to do that when everyone around me is saying it's wrong? And she cried, okay? Like, I could tell she really meant this. Like, and I cried too, because what they said was, just because everyone else around you is saying no doesn't mean you have to. And that you being there for your sister right now, that's a huge deal. That shows that you really do love her and you want to support her and be there for her. And both of us were like, I love you. And we hugged, and that was like literally the best weekend of my life, was being at that convention and having that happen. And it was scary at first, but it was lovely. And now it turns out my sister is asexual, so she's part of the LGBTQ plus community. And I don't know, it's like, sometimes it's hard to talk about this because I don't want people to judge me based on who I love. I love everyone. And sometimes I wonder if I'm pansexual, which is basically, I mean, in my view of it, is loving someone no matter their gender, no matter their parts. I go in between bi and pan. Bisexual is you love both genders. I've never dated someone who was trans. I've never dated someone who wasn't male or female, like in gender-wise, like not necessarily their parts, but what they express themselves as. I'm very, I want to say I'm like a mixed energy. I very much love being a woman, but I do identify with masculine traits as well. So I know I'm a woman, but I don't care if people call me he or, his or they. Like, my pronouns, to be honest, are she, her, they, them. But I don't care what people call me. Like, I don't care about pronouns. A lot of people do, especially people who are trans, and that's very important to some people. But I don't know, it's hard to talk about sometimes because there's always going to be people who judge me because of who I love, who I can fall in love with. But to be honest, I'm just full of love. No matter if that's romantic or sexual or, familial or, friendly, like, I'm full of love and I love who I love. And no amount of pissing on me is going to change that. So I'm very loud about my sexual orientation because to me it's a huge part of me. It's not everything. There is so much more to me than just being bisexual. But it has helped me become who I am and accept who I am as a person. It's helped me help other people realize their sexual orientation. And it's just overall helped me. So even though Pride Month isn't necessarily a big deal to some people, it is huge for people in the LGBTQ plus community. Because a lot of people hate us. A lot of people judge us. And it's just the way it is. I don't, you know, being bisexual has impacted a lot of areas of my life. I I don't view myself as a Christian anymore. People I know who went to my church or still go are gonna cringe when I say that, but I don't. I don't view myself as a Christian. I'm very open to religion. I don't view myself as one religion. I have many beliefs. Multiple of them are for different religions. And I am perfectly happy with that. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't have been able to come to that conclusion without being bisexual. Because being bisexual gave me a lot of self-hatred and anger because I felt judged, even though the people around me weren't necessarily judging me. And I used to be so angry with Christianity, like in general, and God. I used to be so angry with God, especially after the Pulse shooting happened. I gotta... I'm gonna try very hard not to cry, but that shooting, I'm very empathetic, and I react to everything. So world events like shootings, children being kidnapped and killed, like everything, hate crimes, everything that happens in the world affects me, whether that's good or bad or indifferent. I had never felt so unsafe in my entire life. I had to call the Trevor Project, which is a suicide hotline, that night because I was so scared and I didn't want to be alive. Because all those people went to a nightclub to go and have fun. And because some asshole thought it was wrong to be part of our community, he shot them. He shot them all. And that is disgusting to me. I will never get over that. Never. Mm-mm. But that's... I dated one girl. We're best friends now. It didn't work out, in our relationship, but we are best friends, more like sisters now. I was thrilled to date her. It felt right. And I loved it, but I can't lie and say I didn't feel scared. Because I couldn't go out and hold her hand without thinking someone might hurt me and her. I couldn't go out and kiss her without feeling that way. We got looks. Whereas if it was a straight couple, no one would think twice. No one would do a double take or anything like that. I'm very, very, very blessed that I have people in my life who love me for who I am. The last person I came out to who was extremely important to me, I mean, obviously, as I meet people and they become important to me, I'm going to have to come out to them if I decide to. But I came out to my dad. I think I was 22. So I waited 4 years after I told my mom and my sister to tell my dad because I was scared of how he would react. And I love my dad, and he's gone now. And I don't want to slander him. I don't want to say anything negative about him because, well, one, he's not here to defend himself, and two, he was lovely. Like, he did his best to take care of us and raise us in a good way. But I was terrified to tell him that I was bi. Absolutely terrified. I didn't know how he was going to react. And it wasn't the best reaction, but it by far wasn't the worst. And I am very blessed because pretty much everyone in my life, or anyone who's stuck around, or who I've said, okay, yes, you can stay, are loving and accepting of me, regardless of who I love, regardless of who I'm dating. And that's not the case for a lot of people. Like I said, a lot of people are still in the closet, feel they can't come out because of the hatred and the judgment that comes with being in the LGBTQ plus community. And it's hard. It really is. Because people don't get judged for being straight. And I don't even really know what to say about that. All I can really say is that Pride Month is a time for us to celebrate us and who we are, regardless of how other people feel. And one of my favorite quotes is, "We're here, we're queer, and we're not going away." And it's true, we're not. You know, regardless of whether you think there are people in our community around you or in your life, there are. Odds are you know someone who is part of this community, even if you don't think you do. You may be the reason they haven't told you because they're scared of how you might react. And I want to say, for people who have not come out, or who don't think they ever will, or who feel they're not safe enough to, you are valid even if no one else thinks you are. And we are out and proud for you so that it can be more accepted and so that you can feel safe to come out and be yourself. And I wouldn't change anything about being in the LGBTQ plus community. It does make my life a little harder, in a couple different ways. Religion, you know, I had to basically, I don't even know the right words, leave the religion that I was christened into because I felt pressure and judgment. It's hard with love because I have more options available to me, and I'm constantly up and down about whether I should be with a man or a woman. And that's scary to me, to be honest with you. because I want everything yesterday. And to not even know which gender I'm going to end up with makes it worse. I'm also afraid because there are people who, if I start dating them and they find out I'm bi, they could say, oh, I don't want to date you anymore. You're probably going to be unfaithful because you can't have just one gender. I have a friend who had that told to her, so. But yeah, no. There's things about being in this community that are difficult, but I wouldn't change being bisexual. I wouldn't change who I am, especially not to please other people. I love Pride Month. And it's odd because the city I live in, town I live in, that borders this town I live in, the bigger town that people know, started putting up pride flags last year. And they did it this year too. And every time I drive down that road, the main road through that town, I want to cry because I feel represented. I feel like I'm accepted for who I am enough for them to do that. And that means a lot to me. And for those who don't view being LGBTQ plus as okay, I would ask you to go inside yourself, do some soul searching, and find out why you are not okay with other people being happy. Because in the end, what people do in the bedroom, who they fall in love with, that's really none of your business. And it has nothing to do with you. So, that's what I would say. Look inside, getting tongue-tied. Look inside yourself. Figure out why you're not okay with other people being happy and loving who they want to love. And please don't give me bull crap about love the sin or hate the sin. Like, no. I've had people in my life like that, and I don't anymore. Because I don't need that. And I don't even really know what else to say. Just that be who you are, regardless of anyone else. Because it's you have to live with. You are responsible for your own happiness. You are the only one you have to live with for the rest of your life. What other people think about you or feel about you does not matter. And you're beautiful the way you are. So be who you are and love who you love. Because even if you're this is another quote that I absolutely love. Even if you are the most amazing, delicious peach in the entire world, there's still gonna be people who hate peaches. I love that quote, and I don't know who said it, but it's not mine, okay? But that quote, that resonates with me, and I try to remember that quote now when I feel judged or upset because of how someone views me. So I hope that quote means something to you. Well, hello guys. So my phone decided to cut out I thought I lost that whole flippin' video, but I was very lucky and I didn't. So, I'm just filming the little tiny outro because I was pretty much done with the video, but I didn't want to leave it on a note, like where I was in the middle of saying something. So yeah. I hope that this video helped someone feel like they're not alone. I hope that you guys enjoy Pride Month and that you come to terms with who you are, regardless if you are out of the closet or not. And love who you love and love yourself, because that is so important and you don't have to please anyone else. Yeah. So, please take care of yourselves. All right. And enjoy your Pride Month. And I will see you soon. Bye.